shirts. Office anime, which means skirts and shirts and not doing any office work at all. Meet Katase Shiori, and right off the bat, you can already tell based off of her appearance that she is very short. She's very short.
Oh yeah? Is that all she is?
I mean, you can pick and choose what you want about a person, but yeah, no, she's fairly tiny. And that's what I wanted to say, considering that the show name is My Tiny Senpai, so.
I mean, definitely not all of her is tiny, but...
Look at the height difference, all right?
Oh yeah, no, I'm looking at that.
Can you not get us canceled, like, less than a minute into a video, please?
You're doing it to yourself by recapping this.
Shiori works in the product development section, where she's a senior to our male lead, Shinazaki Takuma. Yeah, the height difference is really real, man. She's impressed with his current task and praises him for it, and he's taken aback by this sudden praise, and even more so when she pats his head. This happens in an office. Okay, then.
Where else would it happen? I mean, what do you expect them to do? Actual work?
I mean, they are kind of getting to work.
You did it to yourself.
Our boy's on his way to the office when he spots Shiori meowing toward a bush. He goes on to ask what she's doing, and she's trying to grab the attention of a cat. Little does she know, that's not how that works. He's trying to do the same, actually, but in his context, the cat belongs to her. Oh, whew.
I don't get it.
Apart from those two, the production department also has a manager named Akina Chihiro. This is the most old-looking middle-aged character I've seen in a while, so you know what? Props to that. Both he and Shinazaki are impressed by how good she is at time management. This has to do with her being a hard worker, which mostly results in stiff shoulders. Man, do I feel that.
You sit in a chair and recap anime for a living. Calm down.
He offers her a massage and then quickly realizes the potential situation that he could end up in. He tries to change the subject by talking about how he gets stiff shoulders too, and Shiori then offers his massage his shoulders instead. Yeah, I don't think it's his shoulders. He feels stiff in a particularly difficult area to reach.
I mean, to be fair, she's right there. It wouldn't be that hard.
She then begins to squeeze the man's shoulder and makes comments about how big and hard they are. Who says that about shoulders? It's going to be the second show where the sheer difference in height is going to bother me for all 12 episodes. She spots him working on his proposal and remembers the time when she was just starting out like him. Her own experience was not that great, but she has nothing but big expectations with Shinazaki.
You know, man, maybe you should just learn to appreciate the height difference. No, I do.
You don't have a body.
You smell.
Seeing how nervous he is, she even gives him a good luck charm, which makes the lad more nervous than he already was. How do you have such an erotic reaction to a person just breathing on your palm?
How do you have so much gas in you that you burp every other sentence?
Still, the man feels much better now that he had so much senpai exposure all to himself. We have now the fourth member of the product development team, Yamagishi Aiko, who is also in her first year of employment, much like Shinazaki. He asks her if she wants to attend the end of the month drinking party, and he's really determined for this party. He has a tablet in his hands, even keeping records of who will be attending. Oh, wait, it seems like they had a competition about who'd organize and he lost. Never mind. So it was Aiko first, and now we got Hayakawa Chinatsu, who's also in her first year of employment. She's not the most sociable member of the office and usually tends to miss out. She's gonna be doing the same this time. Aiko takes notice of how frank Shinazaki is with Chinatsu and directly asks the two if they're going out. She wasn't far off though, because Chinatsu is a childhood friend. There's always one. Although they have a very cute reaction to this question, which makes me wonder if they're planning for this to be a thing. Even Senpai has the same question for him, except she wants to know if he gets along with Chinatsu. He quickly explains that they're just childhood friends who went to the same elementary school, same middle school, and same high school, and then end up working at the same company. Wow, okay, just frickin' bend me over and flick me sideways.
Excuse me, what?
Even with that explanation, Senpai is not convinced that she feels that they get along a bit too well. You can see the figment of jealousy on her face already. Things are not gonna go well for Chinatsu. It's barely the first episode. Shinazaki notices his expression and thinks that if she's jealous before quickly reminding himself that it would never happen. He tries to explain himself again, but this time Senpai directly tells him that she is jealous. Shinazaki.exe has officially stopped working. He takes a moment to process the fact that she is jealous. She then joins her fingers and with a shy expression talks about how she wants to be friends with Chinatsu as well, so this was never about him. Good! Oh man, she has a rather high opinion of Chinatsu, seeing her to be a very neat and fun person to be around. Didn't she just cancel the drinking party? Are you sure fun is the right word to use? She even hoped that Shinazaki would introduce them sometime soon. Oh well, he actually did. Very noble of him. Although that must have completely killed his confidence to think that she was jealous on his behalf. Shinazaki notices Senpai having a small talk with an employee from some of other department. He goes on to ask if everything is fine, and she assures him that it is. They just got some data mixed up. He assures that it was a much bigger issue than what she made it out to be, which leads him to ask her about how she's never mad. She already doesn't disagree with him. She believes that it's not good to be upset with someone who's already in a mess. She then warns him that he's not been reporting enough these days. He wonders if he did something wrong, but that's not the case. She just wants him to report when he's working hard. What is he supposed to say? Did he change the font size or something? All she wants to do is her duty, which is to praise him when he does a good job. There it is, the head pat once again. She almost treats this dude like a fracking puppy. She really does care about this man though, doesn't she? Look at her, breaking him a drink as he works his soul out, changing font sizes.
And I say yet again, what are you doing that is so difficult? You cannot judge him.
He notices that he's not yet finished the day's work and offers to help him out. Not only is she gonna help him finish his work, she's also gonna treat him to dinner after this. What? So you're loaded too, is what I'm saying?
You didn't like her height just like 2 minutes ago, man.
I mean, I've learned to like it.
What changed?
My opinions.
Damn, got me there.
You just said damn with B.
Damn it!
Shinozaki feels inclined to pay after all the help he got, but Shiori insists that she should be paying since it's her treat. They start to argue over who's gonna pay before Shiori sneezes and talks about how cold it is. Shinozaki takes his coat off and covers her body all the way to the knees, and she starts smelling his coat. They try to make it look normal, but nah, it's weird. As weird as you can get. Still kind of cute, though. She starts to imagine his arms all around her. She drowns in the aroma of the coat. What is that face, man? That's like she's about to orgasm just wearing a coat. She has no choice but to return it back, or else we're going to have ourselves a rather 18-plus situation here. They get to the restaurant where Shinozaki takes notice of Shiori's scent on his jacket. Can you stop? And they're like, what the frick is happening? Why is this a thing? Is this a plot point? They make their orders, and Shinozaki thanks her once again for all the help. It's not just that, though. He's thankful for the good luck charm from last time. She's very proud to be the senpai that he can look up to, or look at, given where his eyes keep gliding when she makes a proud gesture. So Shiori is in the general affairs office this time, and even now she's making an impression. Everyone likes this person. They even send a gift to the product development team. The box contains a bunch of cookies, and she takes them back to the office. She spots Shinozaki chilling in the break room, and he's startled to see her there all of a sudden and asks if he's taking a break. He tries to get back to his work, but she stops him and asks a rather weird question. Bears or bunnies? What does Shinozaki like? Huh? This is a matter of life or death. He's nervous about why she's asking him something like that, but goes on to choose bear as his answer. She then hands him a bear-shaped cookie, which she was about to share with the rest of the members, but he gets special privilege. It's another bright day in the office, and Shiori is there earlier than the rest. She drops her pen as soon as she enters and crouches to pick it up. Big mistake! Shinozaki arrives right when she is under his desk, and as soon as he takes a seat, he can see her below his knees. This is a rather fortunate position to be in. She tries to get out before he can make space, which leads to her chest getting stuck in his crotch. Chinatsu and Akino see all this unfold, and yeah, this is definitely the ideal office environment that everybody wants. Why can't I get this?
Agreed!
Shinozaki has submitted a bunch of documents to check, and she carefully goes through each line. She's very impressed with the work that he has done, and even gives him a head pat as a reward. Akino watches the two get along so well, and he can't help but feel proud of how well-behaved his juniors are. To him, these two seem like more than just co-workers. They look like friends.
With benefit.
Wasn't gonna say that part.
That's why you got me.
Shinozaki is once again tasked with scouting a location for the monthly drinking party. Akino was supposed to take over the job this time, but he has to take on some extra work, so he doesn't feel nice about burdening him with this and asks Shiori if she can join him in it. This, of course, turned out to be a cruel ploy from him, and he just wants to see how those two are going to hunt for a restaurant. He even hopes to see some naughty scenes unfold while he's at it. Chinatsu catches her manager hiding behind some bushes, acting like a total creep, which he already looks like, and very much is. Comes up with a lame excuse that's completely busted when she turns around to see the other two. Akino jumps over and asks if she isn't curious about her childhood friend. He then comes to a sudden realization that even Chinatsu can have some room and a chance for romance with Shinozaki. He isn't sure which couple he wants to root for, or maybe I'm overstepping my bounds here. Mind your own business! Huh? You try that? I think that'll work wonders. Chinatsu tries to clear the air, explaining how she goes back with Shinozaki and that there's nothing between the two. They continue to follow the two inside the restaurant where Shinozaki and Shiori are given a very good spot with a great view of the city. At this point, I won't be surprised if Akino starts touching himself over these two bonding. Just look at this guy's face. Despite having a romantic spot like that, the two of them are more focused on the menu and what they want to order. Chinatsu is surprised by how much he's interested in knowing what happens between them. Akino then goes on to confirm the suspicions that I had about him. He does get off in rooting for someone else's love life.
That's more common than you think it is. office.
Shinozaki tries to show their office to her, and she can't see it while seated. She steps up and tries to look over the sofa, only to squish her chest against his back. This has happened more than I can keep count at this point. His face turns red over what's happening, and she asks him if he's okay. He quickly responds that the view is really nice, not aware of the fact that his eyes are not exactly looking at the city. Other than that, they have a good meal, and they gotta go back now. Shinozaki expresses his concern over how he wants to stay longer, and she looks at him with sussy eyes. She wonders if he means to say what she thinks he means to say, and her face starts to turn red too. Shinozaki still has a normal reaction to this all, and Shiori comes back to her senses, knowing that he was not trying to instigate anything. Is it over now? Oh, fucking heaven, thank goodness. I was starting to feel weird about Akino's character for a minute there. Actually, I still am, and I doubt I will not feel weird about him, ever! Chinatsu sees Shinozaki on his way to work and runs up to him, and she sees an umbrella in his hand and asks him about it since the day is quite sunny and not rainy. Shiori is there, except she's thinking the exact opposite. It doesn't seem like she brought an umbrella with her. Of course, we all knew where this was going. The moment Chinatsu notices the umbrella in his hand, we knew where this was gonna go. He brings the umbrella over her head and offers to share it with her. Why would you have a red face over something like this? I mean, I guess it's kinda nice, but like, I'm just butthurt, bro.
Oh, we know.
They walk together into the same shade, and she notices that his shoulders are wet, mostly because he's tilting most of the umbrella to her side. Shinozaki doesn't want her to be bothered by all that, and he attempts to make some small talk. The best he can ask is what her favorite animal is, despite seeing her try to woo a cat a billion times. She notices how bad he is at making small talk, to the point where she has to tell him that he doesn't have to force it. She just enjoys walking home together. This isn't the first time that she's noticed this habit of his. He tends to make small talk even when in the office or a meeting goes completely quiet. He agrees that he wants to do something to fix being nervous all the time. Yeah, I mean, it would help if your senior wasn't a tiny woman with a larger-than-life bust, but sure, buddy, hang in there. She wants to stop by a bookstore before heading home, and he offers to give her his umbrella. Much to everyone's surprise, she pulls out an umbrella from her bag and thanks him for his trouble. That's your cue, mate. Take her home. Of course, he doesn't have the courage to do that, and you know what? I don't blame him, and probably this is the better option anyways. He's left speechless over what just happened. Shinozaki doesn't come to the office the next day. He's fallen ill. She already wonders if it has something to do with his shoulders getting wet, which how even do you get sick over something that insignificant?
You'd be surprised.
She begins to worry about him, which she should, because slice of life characters have zero immunity against fevers and the common cold.
You sound like you're complaining.
I'm very much not. I'm sorry if I sound like that. It's just the cliche, man. That's what I have a problem with, the cliche.
You're a walking, talking cliche of an anime recapper.
With pizzazz.
More like pizzazz.
She goes on to visit his place, which takes him by complete surprise. The man's grumbling stomach is there to greet her, and she just immediately takes over the kitchen. It's not just cooking, though. She cleans the place, does the laundry, even his underwear, and she took a sniff.
Oh, so she is cultured.
After his return to the office, the first thing that Shinozaki wants to do is get a present for Shiori for her troubles. Of all the people he could go to ask, he goes to Chinatsu. Yeah, you're really not scoring a lot of points with her, buddy. Chinatsu wants to know why he wants to gift her, and he tells her how she came into his piece and took a sniff of his underwear. She's curious about how good Shiori was. She wants to know if the food she cooked was good. Frickin' women, dude.
Wow!
She then suggests that he should give her an apron, for weird reasons that I did not bother comprehending. He's there with a bag, inside of which is an apron, like we just discussed.
Oh man, I love the parts in videos where you go, it's recapping time, and just recap everywhere.
She walks up to him and he starts to get nervous about the gift. Still, he stands up with valor and gives her the bag with a sweet greeting. It also serves as a cue for her to stop by his apartment and cook for him anytime she wants. Score! Yusuke from Public Relations is at Shinozaki's office asking for Akino. Funny how Shinozaki has no idea what the name of his boss is.
Funny how we're on episode 3 and you've been saying Akino instead of Akino this entire time.
Yamagishi comes to ask the same question, except she's looking for Shiori. That's a name that Shinozaki vividly remembers. He's also been asked to lunch by Akino, the same guy who he didn't think was important enough to learn his name.
You're just doing this to spite me now, aren't you?
They discuss how work has been for him since it's his first year, and he mostly credits Shiori for being a great senior. She did come all the way to his apartment to cook food for him, so yeah, great senior is an understatement there. He also shares some very private stories about Shiori, letting him know that she can also make mistakes. Shiori then comes out of the other desk pouting over them talking behind her back. She joins the two for lunch shortly after, and I have to ask, where's the lunch? They've been seated here for some time now, but I don't see any crumbs. Grums.
You said it, don't look at me.
Akane casually reminds him of the first time he started in the office, and the only thing he can remember is spending time with his beloved senpai. He also had moments where he thought Shiori was not happy with his work and secretly wanted to have him fired. Haha, that was a cool 2 episodes ago. He specifically remembers a time when he had to ask her about a certain password but kept overthinking her reaction. She then entered it for him, which cleared any false impression Shinozaki ever had about her. Who knows, maybe there's still some false impressions that he's yet to see in bed up top.
Hey, what are you, the Grudge?
It was a similar experience for Shiori, who wanted to be a good senior too, but was too sensitive in her approach, and more specifically around her oppai. They were able to clear the air between them only after the whole password incident happened. I don't know though, she gets so turned on over him calling her senpai. Shinozaki doesn't have a lot of work cut out for him. This past conversation turns the two of them red, but Akane sure as hell is having a good time. He might even have a boner there. They just won't show it to us.
I don't think Japan is legally allowed to show you that.
Yep, my boner radar is going off.
Your bonar?
He's excited enough to treat them to lunch. Of course, they're too innocent to realize what's happening and gladly accept his treat, and Shiori begins to wag her tail in delight. When did she get that? The dynamic duo are coming hot off a meeting from another company, and I guess they were there to represent their own... I don't know. He's glad that she had his back in there, and she takes every chance she gets to rub it in his face. They're on their way back to the office for the rest of the day, but Shiori is distracted by a claw crane. The toys inside are extra cute enough to have her eyes sparkling. There's a kitty toy with a bunny hoodie and a doggy toy with a bear hoodie on. I'm not sure how she knows that because I don't see any of it. They both take a good look at it, and each of the toys remind them of each other. She's smug to hear this, and even more so when he says that she's cat-like. She continues to stare at them, and Shinozaki has to ask her if she wants one. He starts to boast about his skills with a claw crane, and it'd be mad funny if they spent hours there without getting jack. Okay, here we go. After all that time wasting, he's gonna go for it. His first attempt is unsuccessful, which says a lot about his boasting a while ago. But then his senpai's smile is too precious for him to stop now. Oh boy, he's not gonna stop until he gets that toy. I'm beginning to believe that he's failing on purpose to just see her reaction. She might as well try herself and do better than he does. She gives him a boost by setting the budget to 3,000 yen. The cost for each go is 100, so he has like 30 chances. 28 with the 2 that he just wasted. Third time's a charm for him as he gets the kitty toy as well as the doggy one as a bonus. Talk about sheer luck. He lets her have both the toys and she starts to make a cute story out of it. Then he begins to imagine himself with her. Isn't that adorable?
It's a little more than just adorable.
Shiori is too infatuated with the toys and even wants to name them. You have to respect her effort though. He straight up names the dog Takuma, which is Shinozaki's given name. As such, he names the other doll Shiori. Wow, what a big surprise. I did not see that one coming. She seems super happy about it though, so it must count as a win for him. Yamagishi wants the opinion of Shinozaki and Shinatsu on a project that she's taken over. She's agreed to design a video game and wants some opinions. They should find it fun since she's going to work on a dating sim. She's even designed the menu for the game and they have the exact same reaction that I would have to a game that looks like this. Plus it's named Meow Taro. Yes, please give her your honest opinions. Her goal is to capture the attention of young girls. That is the audience demographic she's hoping to hit home, and before they can talk about it, Shiori joins them and Yamagishi asks her about the game too. And I can assure you that she's not gonna say a fracking word beyond it's cute. Oh, wait, no, I'm not sure she likes it. More specifically, she doesn't dig the character displayed on the menu. He doesn't really scream Meow Taro, whatever that means. She doesn't want any suggestions regarding the design though. What she wants are romantic anecdotes. They have a sudden uneasiness on their faces since there's a high chance that they're gonna be judged based on the kind of romance story they pitch. Yamagishi can already sense the lack of confidence, enough for her to guess that none of these 3 have dated before. He tries to pin it on Shinatsu, reminding her of the time she met her Prince Charming. Yamagishi sure is excited to know about it. She shares the story of her charming prince, and it took place during one of her interviews. Why on earth would her Prince Charming be Akane? What is this? No one asked for this. And she gave him that name simply because he fixed her shoe. All they did was put some glue on it. Anyone could have done that. She could have done that herself. She would then go on to give her interview and see the same person who touched her feet moments ago. Although she doesn't let him know that the person she's talking about is their boss. I wonder what they would say if she did tell them. Yamagishi asks if she had the chance to see him again. She did, but he didn't exactly live up to her expectations, and yeah, we know why. Shiori is still thinking about the romantic story thing and wonders if she has any. Her eyes go straight to the dolls Shinozaki got for her. Her imagination begins to run wild over just a stuffed toy with a necktie, and she added that herself to make it look more like Takuma. Chinatsu Shinatsu's on her way to the changing room after spending her whole day as a cosplayer at an event. One of the worst ways to die. She thinks that this is a good way to get away from her office, and she's sure that nobody from her work will show up in the venue so far. Akina then greets her while she's dressed like a cat because of course she does, and that causes her to rethink her life, which now includes this. Her boss knowing she's an otaku. He has the same weird grin on his face, and Shinatsu can't tell how he must be reacting to this revelation. He asks questions about her outfit, and Shinatsu is sure about being fired, only to hear a compliment from him. His analogy is plenty sad, though. He admires anyone who has a hobby simply because he doesn't have any, aside from being a borderline creep, but I've heard that doesn't count. She asks him to keep it a secret, and he's reluctant to do so at first. A bit of persuasion is enough to sway him, though, so can't let that plot thread dangle for too long. My hands get cramped.
What?
She's also working on a comic book of her own. It has a deadline, but she can barely focus on finishing the work as her mind is clouded by Akina. Meanwhile, Shinazaki is busy being a diligent and dependable degenerate. I'm kidding. I just wanted to say that because it also had a D.
You know what else has a D?
Not you.
The moment I get a body, you will be eating your words!
Shinazaki's being a good junior to Shiori with his daily reports and documents. And just across their table is a half-dead person in Chinatsu who neither got her work completed nor got any sleep. They ask if she's alright, to which she has a very normal reaction, but when Akina asks the same thing, Chinatsu's soul leaves her body. To make matters even worse, she asks her out for dinner so they can talk things over. He's gonna ask her to pose as a hentai character. If they want to make the show spicy, that's the way to go!
Except they're never going to do that, actually.
She knows what this might be about, but she still can't say no to him. The other two were there the entire time, so of course they think that Chinatsu is set to be on a date with the manager. That shouldn't be legal, actually. Also, first off, the idea of this being a date goes deeper into her mind, psyche, subconscious. She tries to deny it while trying to look as good as she can for dinner. The very start of this not a date moment starts with them saving her from tripping over. Oh, that's a great way to start, isn't it? That's the most date thing that could happen. It reminds him of the time she broke her heel when she first came in for her interview. Chinatsu is surprised that Akina would remember something as trivial as that. Yes, who would remember someone's first meeting with someone? Despite her doubts, the dinner is actually pretty normal. He only talks about subjects related to work because what else are you gonna talk about? She takes the initiative to ask him about the things he wanted to discuss in the first place, and he comes to the point very directly. The man doesn't even build up or anything. Akina tells her that whenever he looks at her, he gets excited. Could have phrased that better, but who cares? That works. She's completely bewildered by this and thinks he's about to go for a confession. Well, that would be perfect, and you kind of already went for it saying something like that, until it isn't, because he only wants to attend the cosplay event with her. Okay. The serious mood is completely shot down, and Akina begins to fanboy over how cute her costume was and how fun it should have been to make one. He's even brought a camera with him and wants to take her pictures while they're at the event. She tells him that he can go and take pictures of any cosplayer he wants, but Akina wants it to be her. Does that pass as a confession? His request is too sweet for her to decline, and so she gives him a date for the next event that she's about to attend. She needs some outside opinion on this matter, and the only person to turn to is Shinazaki. They catch up for lunch during office hours, which grabs the attention of Akina and Shiori. He starts to fantasize about which ship he wants to support once again, and I guess it's safe to say that he's not romantically interested in Chinatsu. Shiori corrects him in time to remind him that there's only one more possibility to look for between himself and Chinatsu. Although she only tells him that he should consider other options, and the only other option he sees is, oh, wow, I didn't think this man was interested in Yuri. Chinatsu tells him the whole cosplay situation, including their supposed date, and she feels comfortable telling him that he knows she's an otaku. But even he is now aware of her cosplay hobby. Shinazaki thinks it's not a big issue for Akina to know about her interests. Wait, is that it? That was enough for him to convince her? Why do they even have this talk? It lasted for less than a minute. The conversation, as short as it was, is again cut short by Akina and Shiori, and they want to join in for lunch too. He still has that weird grin on his face also, just gonna point that out. Halloween is upon the office, and Shiori's in a cat costume because of course she is, shoving a pumpkin into her junior's face. She asks for his opinion on the costume, and he thinks it's cute. What his costume is, though, is an awful lot like his regular uniform. Huh, I see. The depressed salaryman. That pumpkin, though, has a bunch of candies inside of it, and she only treats them because there's no trick to pull. She has a very keen excitement on her face as she hoists up the pumpkin so that he can reach it. Shinazaki notices her childish face and can't help but play trick or treat with her. Even Akina has cat ears on him, and I gotta say, it doesn't make his creepy smile any better. It's even worse now, actually. Shinatsu tries to make some comments on it, but then he pulls a pair of cat ears appears out of thin air and puts one on his head. She looks much like the way she does in a cosplay dress, and this time they even match. His life is fulfilled, man. She's flustered at first, but can't take it off for the rest of the office day, mostly because they might get her fired. I mean, he is her boss first, and a creepy crush afterward. The senior-junior duo eat all the candy they'd collected for lunch, and they're both equally conscious of the side effects of eating too much sugar, but can't help themselves, as it's Halloween, and it's sugar. Sugar is an addiction. Shinozaki holds a piece and tells her that those particular ones have a very mature taste. She wonders what it's about, and then opens her mouth, signaling him to go for the airplane coming in hot for landing. Yeah, baby! Woo-hoo-hoo! Instead of just giving it to her, he thinks of all the things that could happen. Most importantly, his fingers would touch their lips, and that right there is the pinnacle of romance, according to him. So he decides to go on with it anyway, but then she picks it up from his fingers and eats it by herself. That right there is a big loss, my friend. Can I get an L in chat for that moment? Should have taken his time. So this chocolate was supposed to have a mature taste to it, and it most certainly does. Her face turns red and she becomes extra affectionate to Chinatsu. It has alcohol in it. She kisses her on the cheeks as hard as she can, and this guy Akina, the first thing he did was start taking pictures. Shinozaki explains that the chocolate had a certain amount of alcohol in them. Yeah, we're already there, man, but not nearly enough to get someone drunk. Oh, he wonders if her kissing behavior is normal when she's tipsy. That does open a chance for him in the near future, I guess. Jyori then turns her attention to the creepy boy. Shinozaki's fantasy about getting a kiss from her might be a reality for Akina, or so he thinks, but he simply wanted to be grateful for the working environment he creates. Thank you. Come again.
In a moment.
Wow, we haven't done a Dragon Ball Z abridged reference in a hot minute.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Jade, you're not trying to steal jokes, are you?
I stole you?
Akina turns her attention back to Shinozaki, and this time she looks at him with a very needy set of eyes. He can feel that his moment might just arrive before she starts to burst into tears. She's just proud of how far he's come from being clueless at work to being clueless in love. It just brings tears to her eyes. Wow.